Hey everyone, this is KK and this is my first process video. I hope you guys enjoy. So I'm starting with this sheet of patterned paper and I'm going to use it just to frame this aqua sheet of cardstock that I'm going to use for my background. I'm not sure why my video recorded this way. It does, I guess, fix itself later on in the video, but I'm not sure what I did and why it recorded like this. Maybe I was zoomed in too much. So for this layout, I'm using a sketch that I found on Pinterest. And the sketch that I found on Pinterest had 3 layers. It was very simple, but it was very top heavy. So what I'm doing here is I'm just gonna cut these layers and I'm gonna lay them down, but I'm not gonna adhere them just so I can get a good feel for how it's going to look. So it calls for that first one that's kind of narrow, and then one that's a little bit shorter and chunkier, and then the third layer is vertical. And right here I'm just trying to decide if I should cut with or against those wood planks, and I decide to cut with them just in case I want to use that pattern paper for something else. So when I pick everything up, I realized that I would prefer everything to be layered differently and at the bottom. So I kind of stretched the sketch just a little bit and I get everything adhered there, and I just want those back 2 layers to peek from behind the vertical one just a little bit. So once I get everything adhered, I go ahead and lay my photo down, and I realize that this photo kind of blends in with everything, so I want to make it pop just a little bit. So I use that wood plank patterned paper to make a mat for this. And this photo is of my little cousin Jasmine, and it was last autumn, and she's just adorable. So I get the photo adhered, and I go ahead and start embellishing. The only embellishments I have for this collection were some cork stickers and also those cards that you see to the right. They're like 4x4s, and I got those at Joann's. So I take that frame and I cut it, and I go ahead and back the hello with some aqua cardstock, but I adhere it, but it doesn't stay there because I just don't like the way it fits. Now, one thing about these cards, they do have rounded corners, and usually I'm quite bothered by straight corners and round corners together, but I really like the way it worked with this layout in particular, so they didn't bother me too bad. So I go ahead and use that Little Moments Big Memories for my title. So I get that down first. And normally I would ink around all of these layers, but since I was recording a video, I didn't want to, and I didn't want to do a lot of editing or make you wait, so I didn't do it. And I actually quite like the way it came out, and I think it's because it had that little bit of white, so the uninked edges kind of made it a little bit more clean for me. So the sketch that I was using called for a couple of tags at the top, so I wanted to go ahead and adhere to that part of it. And I thought I might layer some of these 2x2 cards, but it just didn't work out. I think it was just too heavy. So I end up sticking with that Remember This with the aqua arrows on it, and I'm going to bring that back in just a moment. And I decide I'd like another tag up there, and I think I decide on a white one instead of the craft, and I kind of sandwich that craft tag in between the white card and the other white tag. So I get those 2 tags up there, and instead of using ribbon or twine in those holes, what I do is I go ahead and get some buttons and run some crochet thread through them, and I just adhere them there. So I'm going to go ahead and put another tag behind that title block, that card right there, and I'm going to go ahead and stick a button on it as well. Now at this point the tags need something, and so I have this little stamp set, and I decide to use it on that craft tag there just to give it a little something. And then I'm going to go ahead and keep working on the main embellishment, and I'm looking for something to stick there, but that doesn't quite work. So what I end up doing is I end up bringing in those cork stickers, and I find a gem and I just sit it down there. So I wanted the tag to pop just a little bit, so I came in with another sheet of patterned paper and a circle punch, and I punched out the circle just to layer behind it. And I'm going to take that same stamp that I used earlier, and I'm going to stamp on that white tag with some Chestnut Roan Color Box ink. And I have a serious love-hate relationship with that ink. It is so pigmented and the pad is always so juicy, but I get it everywhere. And I've dropped it so many times and I'm just terrified that I'm going to drop it on my carpet one day. So that ink and I seriously have a love-hate relationship. So I'm got those little Teresa Collins tags that I purchased at Joann some time ago, and I'm going to stick one up here behind the photograph, and I'm just going to layer it. They're just kind of peeking out. I'm going to take another one, and it's going to be like a label shape, and I'm going to put it down in the main embellishment cluster, and I'm going to come in with some of those cork stickers and just put them down, just to add a pop of yellow because there's a lot of yellow in that photograph. So I have this owl on that cork sheet, and I take it off because I decide I'm never going to use that. So it's kind of a now or never thing. I mean, I can use it on this layout easily with a picture of a baby, you know? So I go ahead and stick that owl down, and I decide I need to do something to that label down there. And I'm going to come in with a stamp and go ahead and stamp, and it says "Be Happy." At this point, I'm pretty much done. I'm just going to come in with some mist, which is some Heidi Swapp bronzer, and I'm going to do some mist. And that pretty much is it for my layout, and I thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed, and I have some still shots coming up. Again, this is my first video, so let me know if you have any constructive criticism, and I hope to see you guys very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.